Hi, welcome to Coffee Chat Creatives. My name is Claudia,
I'm Sarai.
and we are at the
Los Ranchos
Bakery today.
Yeah.
And we are looking at the art exhibit that they had.
We have some lovely art behind us right now.
And we'll show videos of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about that. So what are you working on right now, Claudia?
I am doing a commission of 3 paintings.
Ooh.
It is a puppy, and then like mid-age, and then like older.
Oh.
So yeah, Little Bear.
That's a little bear.
No, he's a puppy, but
his name is Little Bear.
Her name was Little Bear. Yeah.
That's adorable. I love when animals are named after other animals.
Oh.
It's such a random thing, but it's like, oh, you're Goose, but it's like a cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Foxy. Yeah.
I know. I love that.
What about you?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm working on a few commissions right now. I just finished one up of a beluga whale. And it was so sweet. It was just a little postcard, but I threw some bonus things in, like a sticker and everything for her. Because I just like to do that with those commissions. The next one is going to be a peacock for someone, and it's really like exciting and colorful.
I'm excited to see that.
Too.
Is that going to be watercolor as well?
I'm thinking about it. It's kind of in the air, but I already have kind of a rough study. So as an artist, it's good to make like little studies and sketches of what you want. So I'll definitely have to send you some of those to see.
That sounds fun.
And then the third one is going to be of a hummingbird with little bees around, and it's actually so romantic. The guy's getting it for his wife.
Oh,
I know. So I'm going to have them in a little
spoilers.
nest.
No spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Somebody follows you.
Oh yeah.
Oops. Nope. No spoilers.
No, don't worry. It's almost done. So I'll mail it out before this goes out.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So today we have our first guest. Hi, so this is Jane.
We're having too much fun here.
Yes. Hello.
Tell us about your art. What does she do?
Yeah, these days I make a kitchenware line. I'm a ceramic artist, and my focus is on functional pottery for the kitchen. So I do cone 6 stoneware pottery with a dark clay body, and I make my own glazes. My main base glaze uses 36% wood ash, so we burn wood for heat in the winter, have piles of wood ash, and I can at least use some of that waste material in my glaze.
Wow.
So
removing recycling completely, and like, wow, that's really good. And it's usable.
Totally functional.
Totally functional.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell us, how did you get started with your pottery?
Well, actually, when I was a little kid, we had a close family friend who was a potter. And so that was my very first introduction when I was like 5, 6 years old. She had me trying out the wheel, and I still have the little tiny sad pot that I made when I was like 6. Yeah.
Okay, yes, send us a picture. And
I'll post it. It's on the bookshelf, so I know where it is.
Yes.
And then I was able to do ceramics in high school. My high school had a program, so I got pretty into it then. And by the time I decided to go back to college, I was like, that's my focus.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yep. And I know that we met you at the market, which you're actually in charge of.
I'm the board president and market manager.
That's a lot of work.
It's a good chunk of work, and it's an all volunteer market. But I really love our little market. It's such a sweet community here in Los Ranchos. And so when they were seeking someone to take on that leadership role, and they reached out to me specifically, I was definitely a little hesitant, but I have the flexibility in my schedule right now. And so I thought it would be a good time to take that on and just help build my skills in organizational leadership and facilitation, and continue to build the community.
She's great at herding all the cats, let me tell you. She's really good. She's very organized, and she does very good work. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I've told these two before, but they really understood and grasped the vibe that we were trying to have at that market immediately, and just ran with it. And that is so appreciated. We just want like a chill, beautiful space where we're working together and helping each other to make everything function.
And our applications still open for the market?
Applications are still open. The first round of applications closes on March 31st.
Ooh, so any artists that are interested in doing the market, it is such a simple market. It is very relaxed. I love it. It's my favorite.
I would definitely say it has the strongest sense of community that I've ever seen in a market.
Yes.
And I haven't done very many, so don't rely on me. But it definitely a lot to be said about the leadership.
Yes.
And like I am biased because you're a friend. But even when I first started and we weren't that close or anything, I could immediately feel that atmosphere. It was okay, this is safe for me as a young woman to go to, and I could go to the bathroom and leave my table for a second and then come back and know it's okay. And that's a rare thing, especially in New Mexico. So what inspires your work?
I think that the biggest inspiration for me really is function, and I love to cook, and so I use my kitchen a lot, obviously, and my work often will get, not each piece, but a type of piece will get filtered through my own kitchen, so I understand, does this work the way I want it to work?
Wow.
Does it need to be tweaked?
Yes.
So often it'll take a couple rounds of making a particular item before I'm really satisfied with the design. But yeah, function. And then I also really want the work to be, some of the adjectives I use are like quietly elegant. So it's not loud, it's not vibrant, it's not the kind of work that you would just leave on a shelf. It's the kind of work that you approach when you want a cozy cup of coffee or you need a bowl of ice cream. And it's instantly accessible and very understandable to anyone's gaze what this is for. And it can fit in a lot of types of kitchens.
Yes, we bought a honey pot from you for Christmas. We did a Christmas gift for a friend of ours, and she loved it.
Oh, that's great.
So, yes.
And that kind of feedback is what I love to hear. When I get someone at the market who's like, "Oh yeah, we bought your mug. It's my husband's favorite." That's exactly what I want.
It's always like, what is your favorite feedback? It's like always good. For you, what is it?
For me as an artist?
Yeah.
When someone comes up to me and they just tell me I gave it to them and they were so happy they framed the postcard or like the greeting card or like the poster, and I'm just like, they gave it a story. And I think that's something I really admire about your work, is it has so much story. How do you make sure your work has story?
I don't know. Like
you just go with
capture it. I don't know. I don't like, if I do pet sketches in the market, they're there. I mean, I try to capture the picture of the pet. I don't know if you remember, there was one dog that his name was Milo, I think, and he had shoes, and he was like walking around, and he had like green shoes, and he just like tired in the sun, and he just like splat it in there, and I captured that picture, and then I painted it, and it was just such a cute. But I don't know. I don't know if I capture the story. Sometimes I don't. I feel like I don't. I think I feel like if it's a portrait, I just do like a snapshot.
Right.
If it's a commission or something more like a landscape or competition, then I do a story. But yeah, I think everybody is different.
I think that's the beauty of art, is because we might, as artists, not see that we're making something with a lot of meaning or like has depth to someone, but then they come and see it, and to them, because of their life experiences and trials that they've gone through, they'll see, oh, this relates to me. And I think that's really the beauty of art. I'm spending some time with some friends, and they have so many different kinds of art in their house. And a lot of people like, oh, you just have to have the flow of art. But if it's something you like, it's going to tell a different story to you, and it should be something you want and like. So when you make things that are functional, you mentioned you love cooking, so you have more than just one love. It's more than just pottery. How many loves do you have, man?
Hopefully infinite loves, right?
I like that.
I mean, with the pottery, I do love it, but also I'm trying to make an income, right? With food and cooking, I've been involved with food and both food preparation, but also I worked in natural foods retail for like 20 years. So I know a lot about it and I do love it, but I'm not trying to make a living with it. So it's a very different kind of love or passion, I feel like.
That's a good, that brings me to ask you, how do you balance your life as an artist?
Yeah, well, it's always a shift, right? It's a constant challenge to figure out the balance, but I think that's the case in everyone's life. So for me, I realized fairly early on after graduating with my graduate degree that I was not the type of person who wanted to be producing work on my own dime and just hoping I could sell it. I was not the type of person who wanted to be writing grants in the hopes that I could make work. And that's really why I shifted back towards functional pottery, away from the sculptural installation that I was doing in graduate school. So I've always had some other jobs that just provide a little bit of steady income, so that then when I go to do the artwork, it can still remain that passion and that love and doesn't start to feel like a chore. And that's something that can be a real challenge, especially once, you start your small business and you're having to do all the administration type stuff, your website. Yeah. I'm terrible with social media. It gives me terrible anxiety, so I just avoid it generally. And that's really like how a lot of people break out these days. So it's still a struggle to find the balance, but I'm lucky enough to have a partner who has a stable job, and I've been able to take on things that he used to do, like our big garden. So we also sell produce at the growers market, and so for me, it's nice to have that sort of handful of things going on.
And I understand you teach, right?
I do. I teach ceramics at the JCC, and I've taught at a number of other places as well. Right now I'm just there, but that's a lovely community as well.
Wow, that's a lot to keep afloat. So when you're balancing, was it a hard way to like find that, like, okay, where am I going to level this out with my partner, with my home life, with my work, with my passions? Because you mentioned having other jobs so you just don't get burnt out and you can actually enjoy the work. That's a lot of maturity. Because for me as an artist, a part of my heart is like, I just want to jump in full way. And then it was until recently that I found out I get burnt out. So just knowing that balance, was that something you knew right away, like you were aware of?
I think that, when my husband was in school, I had like a lot of part-time jobs to help us get through that time. And at that point it was too many. When the mental load that's involved with like shifting your mind from one job to another throughout the day or throughout the week is a lot. And so there's definitely been times where I've actually fantasized about like, what if I had an office job for 40 hours a week? And I don't actually want that, right?
Yeah.
But the idea of that kind of just like, what to expect. Every day is the same. You're going to get a check in 2 weeks. That sounds so comforting in some ways. But I am grateful for what I have right now and the ability to decide on my days. I am still looking for work. I want just like another little bit to help feel really secure and balanced.
Do you take commissions?
I do. I don't get a ton of them. I haven't pursued a lot of them. I get a lot of people inquiring, and then I'm like, yes, please contact me. And, they don't.
No, that's far too relatable.
That's very common.
You do art full time.
A
lot of people probably reach
I
out
do
to
full time, but I also have a 13-year-old that is full time.
Part of that balance too is having the partner and being like, okay, so you've got the full-time job, so I will willingly take on almost all the household stuff, right? I'm okay with that because he's helping balance out like our income. I will take care of the house, take care of the cats, handle making appointments for all of us, all of that. It's fine. And so being able to have that kind of open communication, of course, in any relationship is so valuable. But establishing that so that we understand what our expectations are of each other as well. And it doesn't mean that I can't ask for help when I need it and vice versa, right? He can ask for help when he needs it.
And when it comes to leadership, do you have to find that same kind of balance? Because, I understand like people are charming at the market, but sometimes it can be overwhelming because they'll come up with an idea that might work for them in their business, but maybe it doesn't work for the whole market.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think one of the biggest challenges in leadership is just handling everybody's different personalities and being able to still approach them with respect and understanding, and hear their suggestions or ideas or hear their concerns, and address them appropriately. So we've definitely had issues with some more challenging situations or interpersonal conflicts. It's pretty minimal, luckily, at our market.
Yeah.
Generally, people just know that we all want to get along and know that we're all volunteering our time there. But those challenges have been really helpful for me in ways to understand how to handle situations like that in a way that provides what at least what feels like a win-win for everybody involved. Even if the solution is, well, I heard what you're saying, and we're actually not going to do that, but I appreciate your input. I think there's ways to do that, and there's ways to make sure everyone feels comfortable and heard, and um, and again, just like to provide that space to allow them to, if they need to vent to me about situations, they can, while acknowledging that we're all there volunteering and we can't have incredible expectations about anyone, spending 40 hours a week or something on the market when we're all busy doing other things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the three of us, we're like the three amigas, and we have such a great sense of, and a strong sense of community, especially because we met at the Los Ranchos Art Market. I remember that's how I met you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I love that market. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. So I want to show off this beautiful magazine. It's from Los Ranchos Village. And whose cover is this?
Oh, goodness. Thank you.
And it is such an honor. I love it.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. So check it out. It is the February edition 2026.
Yes.
If you are out of town or out of the country, let us know. Maybe we can mail it.
Yes, we can definitely. They were just so nice to put my work on the cover. It was
And
really
they
sweet.
always have a story on an artist.
One of every issue has an interview with one of the artists from the Los Ranchos Art Market,
And
written
there's
by
all
our
her stuff.
illustrious
Beautiful.
Vice President, Gordine McKenzie.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
That's all her stuff. Look at that. So
Gordine McKenzie, she's really something.
she is too. We'll definitely have to interview her. So.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us more about this beautiful community that is the market.
Well, one thing that is great about it is, so I got started at that market as a grower. So maybe about 10 years ago now, my husband and I started selling our produce at the growers market. And that's when I realized, oh, they have this whole art market section.
Ooh.
And I thought, well, maybe I could sell my pottery here. Yeah. So I went and talked to the woman who was running the art market at that time. I got juried in for the next year. And there was a couple years there where I still set my pottery up with the growers. So we had like one section, a couple tables with both the produce and the pots. And then I switched over full time to the art market side a few years later.
I'm so glad you're the president too. And you get to organize everything.
Yeah, because you are a pretty stable person. And like I understand, like we each have our own feelings. We're like, what are you talking about? But from the outside looking in, you seem like a really zen person.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. That is a vibe that I hope to put out there, right? Yeah. I would love to be perceived that way. And yes, of course, we all have inner turmoil that we're dealing with at any given time. But I think, at my ancient age of 46, I have achieved a certain level of mental balance, hard won, but where, I can have stuff going on, but I'm much better at not letting that affect outward in my day-to-day life.
Sari, this is what I tell you all the time. It's like age gives you this gift of like being okay with yourself, and being, not that you're not okay with yourself, but it just gives you confidence. So much confidence that you're like, yeah, so what?
Well, I wish I had. I actually think my confidence was better in my 20s, but it does give. It has given me that a level of maturity and understanding of myself, so that I can, if I'm feeling things, I can investigate them without just exploding all over the place. I can be like, where is this feeling coming from?
Yeah.
And there were definitely a handful of experiences that got me there, because I honestly don't think that age gives that to everyone. Unfortunately.
I'm a lucky one.
When you're making pottery, does that help you find that inner peace or balance inside?
Definitely. And I don't know if you guys have heard the term flow state.
No.
It's like when you are doing something often creative, but it could just be something that you're focused and engaged in.
Mhm.
And it when your brain just like starts to move with that rhythm and you're not thinking about other things, you're not impacted by the day to day or the outer world anymore. You're just able to be in a place of peace and focused on what you're doing. It's almost a meditative state, but
Okay,
you're
yeah.
actively doing
Mhm.
things, right?
I didn't know that was what it was called.
I've
Yeah.
definitely experienced it. I didn't know what it was called either.
Yeah. So like, and there's certain studio tasks that don't result in that, but
Yes.
definitely actually making
Mhm.
does. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I do have a question. So with 2D art, it's really easy to overwork a piece of artwork.
Mhm.
Is that something that you ever have to worry about with pottery?
Definitely. I'm pretty good at not doing that now, but I really do see that in some of my students. Like I have this one student, she's fantastic. She's a similar age to me, but she's not a professional artist. It's just a fun hobby for her. And her biggest struggle is like letting it go when it's time to
Yeah.
let it go,
Yeah.
or just stopping at certain stages. So one of the toughest things to learn with ceramics is that there's a lot of timing involved. So the different textures of the clay as it moves from wet to dry, there's different techniques that you can use at those different
wow.
stages. And so if you try to do a lot, like when the clay is really wet, really easy to overwork it and have things fall apart or just flop, right?
Yeah.
But if you wait too long and it's too dry, now suddenly, yeah, you can't bend things anymore. It's
Okay.
harder to make attachments. It's really easy to break things because it's very brittle when it's that dry.
Wow.
So knowing how to understand the timing so you can do the appropriate techniques at the appropriate time, that's a real struggle for people who are just learning the process.
Wow.
Okay. What are you guys drinking?
I'm drinking a latte.
I also have a latte. It's got oat milk in it.
I am drinking chai latte. So cheers.
Cheers.
And again, we're at the Los Ranchos Bakery. And come and see the exhibit that they have. This is the exhibit with the color wheel toys.
Yes, the Color Wheel Toy Store and then the Los Ranchos Bakery.
And they're having this art exhibit. Sorry, you keep trying to ask her stuff, and I'm like,
No,
so
I'm just
excited.
holding it between us. So there was a little malfunction this morning,
Mhm.
but it just makes it more exciting for you guys if
And
you're
more
watching.
intimate, right? We're cozy, so cozy.
And it feels like an interview.
It does.
Well, although we want it to be like a coffee chat, like we're just
Yeah.
drinking coffee and just chatting. And
Well, that's the beautiful thing about the podcast is it's just friends interviewing friends to support each other in local
Yes.
business.
yeah,
And so I think this was kind of a perfect day and a perfect way to
I
start.
know. Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you quick questions.
Please.
Are you a morning person?
I am now, although my morning generally starts between 6 and 7. And what some of my students yesterday were like, oh, yeah, I'm a morning person. I'm up at 3. I'm not
3
up at
a.m.?
3.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm a morning person
I
too,
think that's
but it's like a
insomnia.
7 a.m., not
Yeah.
3 a.m.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I get up at 4:30, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit. Red or green?
Green.
Green.
Yeah. I'll eat red, but I prefer green.
Okay. Okay, Siri. Again, what's your preference?
Definitely green. And don't you
Oh.
dare say Christmas. I'm watching you. What about you? No.
I do not change that.
Cheating.
Okay, tell me something people don't know about you.
Well, I already talked about food.
Food.
Well, I did mention the oat milk.
Yes.
I am mostly vegan and have been so for 25 years. I do eat eggs on occasion now, and I'll put honey in my tea. But otherwise, I'm
That's right.
vegan and I love to cook, so I cook a lot of really good, healthy food. My husband, though, is omnivorous, so often he'll eat what I cook and then cook a little something else on the side.
Oh, that's sweet. And then tell me, what are you most proud of?
Well, there are things that I am proud of. I'm proud of putting myself through graduate school with no debt.
Yes. Yay,
Wow.
that's a big one.
Yeah.
I am proud of my Duolingo streak.
Yes.
I'm going to hit 3,000 days later this year. But I really hope that my greatest accomplishment is yet to come.
Okay. 3,000 days. What are you studying in Duolingo?
Well, I did Spanish for a while. I took Spanish in college for a few years and then moved to New Mexico. So it was like, let's bulk that up.
Vamos a hablar, desde ahorita vamos a hablar todo en español.
No, thank you. Yes, Duolingo is great, but for understanding, but it has not made me a confident speaker.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. But the last 2 or 3 years I've been doing Hebrew, which I took Hebrew from kindergarten through age about 13 or 14. And it's been really fun to just like have those neurons start to fire again in my brain.
Wow, that's a hard language too.
Yeah, it's interesting because my husband started at the same time. And of course he had no background in it.
Oh.
So it's much more challenging for him. And for me, I'm like, zoom.
This was easy. Yeah. Well, you can't practice it here as much, is there?
No, but I listen to a lot of Israeli music, which is a really fun way to learn the language.
I love that. Yeah, a friend of mine, that's how she learned English. Watching English dramas and listening to music. So that's really unique.
That's really cool. I don't know. What other questions do you have?
Oh, you know what? I guess, was finding your style a really difficult thing for you to do?
That's an interesting question. When I decided I wanted to try selling at the market, it was really important to me to have a unified look and to be able to set up a display that it was obvious that all of these things went together. Based on my experience at markets, that is not how a lot of people approach it, but it was really important to me. So I am satisfied with the work now, but it also is constantly evolving. I'm sure that's the same for the two of you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's how we learn and grow as people. I love that you're always growing as an artist because that's something we never should stop in.
Yeah. And one benefit of having more flexible time the last about year or so has been that before that, when I had time in the studio, it was really about make, produce to have stuff ready for the market.
Yes.
So having a little bit more time has allowed me to do things that I didn't feel I had the time for before, like exploring my glazes more and doing more glaze testing that I did last year. So I was really excited about this new blue glaze that I developed and tweaking that and just having the flexibility or feeling like I have the time to do those more experimental parts of the process.
Oh, I love experimenting. Is that one of your favorite things to do, or what's your favorite thing to do in the process, or is it depending on your mood?
I think depending on the mood is a really good answer. Yeah, I do love the experimentation, but it can be hard to feel like I can justify it, especially if it's like actually making things, taking them all the way through the process. That's a lot of materials and time and firing and everything, and then you might end up with just trash, which it's good in a way because it teaches you humility. Ceramics is very good about teaching you humility, but I do love like the chemistry of doing glaze testing and stuff like that. So when I can get into that mindset, it is really fun.
That is so amazing. And you mentioned the humility. That is one thing, like, we've had to deal with a lot of rejection and learning humility.
Yeah.
I know. From applying to things? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Like doing art shows and no, you're not. Okay. No, this. Have you received any rejections? Like,
a few, but mostly I don't apply for a lot of stuff.
Okay.
That's another one where it's hard. Like, this is a challenge that is definitely my own personal challenge, but like, the phrase, you have to spend money to make money. Yeah. That's really hard for me. So I have read about people who like quit their old job and go get a loan and set up their own pottery
mortgage
studio,
their house,
buy their kiln and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's great, but I wouldn't be comfortable with it, Yeah. So even like application fees, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, so especially some of the big shows in town here. I'm sure I've heard like great things, right? Huge crowds, people are selling huge amounts of stuff, but because my inventory is limited and heavy and fragile.
Yes.
I mean, my entire inventory could sell and I might only make half of, I might make double what the application fee was, or double what the entrance fee was.
Yes.
And that just doesn't seem worth it for all that work.
Well, I know like a lot of the Comic Cons and stuff. I was looking at one, I think it was in San Antonio and another in Denver, and it was like almost $3,000 for a 10-foot table.
Oh, wow.
Space, and I was like, wow, that's scary.
That's like Balloon Fiesta here.
Yeah, and then you have to travel.
And then you have to,
and then
traveling.
pay for food.
But then you have
and
to be there for like 10 days and like,
so
fill that booth
Right.
for 10 days.
Right. And that's something that I just couldn't do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the hard thing about being an artist. Like you hear these like miracle stories, and like you're like, "Whoa, awesome for you!" But a lot of people don't talk about the ones who failed, and well, part of it is because no one knows them,
Right.
And they're just like, it's really hard to get a name out there and to get going and get the ball rolling. But just making those right kind of connections. But for me, it was making like friends. So I definitely see you as a friend. And when we go out to the market and everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Jane. So when you go out and you do those things, or when you were doing them, was it difficult to communicate to people like, this is my work, or this is who I am? Or are you able to like separate yourself from your work?
Oh, that's kind of a complicated question.
Sorry.
Yes, I think in some ways, at least I would imagine, it's easier to separate myself from my work with functional pottery than it would be if it was, for example, painting like you do. It's not that my heart isn't in it, but I think my heart is less visible, possibly, if that makes sense. It's always funny to me when people at the market will come up and be like, "Oh, did you make all of this?" It's
no, I bought it in Walmart.
Right, and there are other markets.
Sarcasm.
There are markets where like people can just like buy stuff and resell it. But our market is not like that. Our market requires the artist to be the person there selling it, requires the artist to have actually created and made all their own work, no kits involved and things like that. And so I just still find it humorous. I'm like, yep, sure did.
I love that. So when balancing the perfectionism versus inspiration, because inspiration can look so free flowing and unique, and you talked about getting lost in the work for a second there, and then also being a leader, you have to be a pretty organized person, so finding that perfectionism it's a difficult balance. If you had to choose one or the other, which one would you choose?
I am very self-critical, especially about my work, but I don't think of myself as a perfectionist. I think there are people who would laugh at that, but but I don't. And I think part of that is, again, because of the process of ceramics. There's so many variables that you only have control over a handful of, that you have to train your mind to allow for things that can be happy accidents or happy errors. So there are definitely times when I see something as a mistake, but it's actually fine. And then there are definitely times where something definitely has some kind of flaw, but is still functional. And I will sell those as seconds at a pretty steep discount, because I'd rather have the work out there living in someone's home and being appreciated, as long as it is still functional and safe, than just be throwing things away when they could be, enhancing someone's daily life.
Well, and since we're in a public place, we do have a lot of noise around us, so sometimes it's kind of noisy.
I guess that's the beauty of the podcast again, is like definitely supporting community, but I mean, to do that we have to be in the community, and there are people, and that's beautiful to have people around us, but it can be a little noisy.
Eventually we'll have a crowd looking at us or something.
Well, a little bit.
No, thank you for meeting with us.
Well, it's an honor.
This is great.
Yes.
Cheers. Cheers. And we'll see you soon. Like, subscribe, and follow us.
Bye.
Bye. Coffee Chat Creatives.